Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
My wife has a year-long affair with her coworker. I dumped her. She drops back and wants remarriage. My ex and I met in college and were passionately in love for 4 years. After graduating in 2010, I married. I discovered her in a year-long romance with a colleague in 2013. I was devastated. She said they loved one another, were soulmates, didn't intend to harm anybody, and so on. Only 3 months later, we divorced. I was devastated. Worst period of my life. I was in mourning for nearly a year. They got married according to what I've heard. I grew tired of being sad one day, so I let go of her totally in my heart, got off my buttocks, and actually went on. I'm a programmer by trade, and I opted to work as a pre-sales solutions consultant for one of the world's largest software businesses. That job has been amazing. I've gone all around the globe, every continent as well as all of the main cities. Life has been an incredible trip. I never dated seriously or remarried. I'm not against casual dating and have dated gorgeous ladies from all around the world. After my marital experience, I determined that wasn't my route and have been content ever since. Sometimes lonely, particularly around the holidays, but mostly content. I'd had enough of traveling for a time, so I moved positions and am now stationed in a big city in the United States. On a Saturday morning, I'm sitting at a restaurant having breakfast and reading the news, Facebook, Reddit, and so on, when someone asks my name. Oh my goodness. The voice sounded like one of my female coworkers, so I glanced up to say hello, and my mouth fell. It's my ex-wife calling. I'm almost 2,000 miles away from our former hometown. Haven't seen her in nearly 6 years, yet she's still there. I was taken aback. All I could say was hello. I hate to admit it, but she was stunning. She complimented me on my appearance. She inquired if I was busy and said she didn't want to disturb me, but she'd love to chat to me. Sure, I replied. We ended up conversing for more than 2 hours and continued for a couple more hours when we went for a stroll in a nearby park. We were making small conversation about common friends and my trip adventures from over the world. Except for the elephant in the room. She eventually asks whether I've remarried at any time. No, I answered, once was enough. That appeared to make her unhappy. We walked for almost a minute in silence before she began. I have to express that I'm so very sorry for what I did to you. You didn't earn it. It was really bad and has stayed with me ever since. There was nothing wrong with you. I stated you married someone else after falling in love with them. That was something I couldn't stop you from doing. I wanted you to be content. Then I said, "Are you content?" "Ha," she said, one of those joking chuckles. Her informed me that the OM and she argued all the time, and that he ended up cheating on her and left her 2 years into their marriage. I apologized for what had occurred to you. I understand how much that may hurt. She said that she was aware. When her heart was crushed, all she could think about was how she had done the same thing to me, which pained her. She claims she was depressed for about a year, participated in self-destructive conduct, and then went to counseling to find out why she was so messed up. She claimed that was incredibly beneficial, and she eventually grew up a few years ago and now takes herself responsibility for her own behavior. She ended up coming to this city because she had a favorite aunt who lives there, and following her second divorce before the age of 30, she wanted to make major changes in her life. The modifications were evident. She is unquestionably more mature. We said our goodbyes since I needed to get ready for an evening with friends. We exchanged contact information and decided to meet for coffee and discuss more. That's what we've been doing. We're both unattached. I suppose there's no harm in trying. She clearly wants more from me. She wants me to want her again. She drops clues the size of the Pacific Ocean. I'm not a moron. I have to confess that she still has that something special that makes my heart skip a beat. Something I can't put into words. Something I hadn't discovered in anybody else since she. I suppose it's the chemistry between us. To be honest, I'd want to be more than just buddies. I want to hug and kiss her. She wants it as well, but I've made no advances. What's holding me back? Fear. I'm terrified I'll get injured again. If she had been a casual girlfriend who dumped me, I would have laughed it off and gone on. She wasn't though, she was my wife and my life's love. I used to fantasize about her reappearing in my life. So here it is, and I'm terrified. I'm not sure I'll be able to offer her that much of myself again. I'm much more guarded of my heart these days. We've both matured a lot, and the past feels a century ago. I'd be head over heels in love with her if she wasn't who she is. I'm torn between pursuing love with her again and letting the past go. It may seem cliché, but it had to be her. It had to be her out of everyone I might have met here. Update. I've had several requests for an update. I had one but was scared to submit it since I get a lot of flack on this sub. We remarried over the holidays and are now expecting our first child. She has matured significantly as a person. I've done the same. We're no longer children. We're in an adult relationship now, and it's a lot better than it was before. Add in the chemistry we've always had, and it's fantastic. I couldn't be more thrilled. I do want to address the allegations that she pursued me. She didn't do it. She had relocated to our present location before I had. She had really moved on, had gone to treatment, and had matured tremendously as a person. I happened to be at that restaurant at the time. We believe it was destiny or some other intervening factor. We're neither religious, but the astronomical chances of us meeting into one other, both single, in a city neither of us had ever lived in, are difficult to dismiss. The cosmos clearly had a plan for us. I wish you all the best. My only piece of advice is to not shut your heart. You never know who will enter your life. Story 2. Me, 23 male, dated a 22 female coworker and now I'm so depressed. So I did the unthinkable and started dating a colleague. Don't put your pen in the corporate ink. We were pretty close friends and she had previously shown interest in me. So I decided screw it and asked her out. It wasn't for long. I went over to her house and hung out the first night. Then we messed around the second. After that night, she stated she didn't want to go any further because it was too soon and she wasn't there yet, and that we should just be friends. I was already madly in love with her at this time, but this just made things worse. It pains me every time I see her at work. The problem is that I continued working on it, and she wanted to try again. Some of what I said struck her heart, she claimed. We ended up dating once more. I spent almost every night at her residence. We went on a vacation as a group. It was paid for by me. We're having a lot of fun together. We skipped work and rode scooters downtown Memphis to see a movie. Then we skipped work again and went to the zoo. Everything looked to be going so nicely, guy. This carried on for approximately 2 months, and now I'm much worse than I was before. I adore her, but I'm almost a stranger to her now. She's always said she's afraid of males, yet she seemed at ease with me. She's now acting as though I've injured her. She doesn't want to look at me because she feels awful about what she's done to me. She ended our relationship through text because she was afraid I would black out and harm her. I know the only alternative is to leave her alone, but it's hard to love someone who suddenly treats you like a complete stranger. Now comes the tricky part. Every daily, I collaborate with her. What can I do to get rid of these feelings? It's completely devouring me. When I informed her about my sadness, she told me I was guilt-tripping and that I should just suck it since that's life. She is correct. I should not have informed her, but I felt compelled to do so since I couldn't tell anybody else. I've never been one to show my emotions in front of others. She is the only one who has seen me weep. My final idea was to send her a love letter about how great we were together, only for her to tell me I was guilt-tripping. Maybe she's correct, but I really attempted to touch her heart again, like I evidently did before. What is my solution in this case? I know I should simply forget about seeing her, but how? Every time I think I'm making progress, I end up weeping out of nowhere and I'm back at square one.